so happy that we're together in this class, Ages of Globalization, because we've got a lot of work to do together. The work that we have in front of us is to solve some problems, some big problems in the world. We're not here in this class as mere spectators, though we're here to learn from history. We're here to observe, to watch, to understand. But we're also in this class so that we become problem solvers. We're aiming to improve the life on the planet. We're aiming to make best use of our interconnectedness on our crowded planet with 8 billion of us so that we can find a way to sustainable development. Well, if the problems were all solved, it would still be interesting to learn history, but our task is a bit more urgent than that, because it's fair to say that we're in class together at a time of tremendous challenges and really tumultuous changes in the world. And three that I would emphasize are the great challenge still of economic inequality in the world, in which in a world of wealth, we still have large parts of the world population stuck in extreme poverty. A second great challenge is environmental sustainability, because with 8 billion of us demanding and needing our food supplies each day and our other goods and services to live prosperous lives, the strains that we are putting on the physical environment are enormous. So we need to find ways to be prosperous, but also environmentally sustainable. And the third great challenge that I think we need to address, and is unfortunately part of human history for as long as we know it, is the challenge of violent conflict and war. Our class is taking place at a time of lots of conflict, lots of war on the planet. And we need to be better peacemakers. We need to be better at understanding the underlying factors that lead to violent conflict, and thereby to the solutions to end the violent conflict. Because violence, of course, leads to tragedy, to the destruction of lives, to the maiming of lives, and also to so much waste of our precious resources that get consumed in war when they should be invested in peace. So these are the great challenges that we confront. We can first look at the economic inequalities around the world. To do that, we can compare indicators of economic well-being, whether it is the output per person in different parts of the world, or the life expectancy in different parts of the world, or indicators of rates of poverty in different parts of the world. And what we see in all of these cases is that we, on average, live in a world of great productivity and unprecedented incomes per person, but also in a world of astounding inequalities. In the high-income countries of the world, where incomes are in the tens of thousands of US dollars per person, people have plenty to eat, access to health care, to education, to leisure time, to goods and services, to all the new products that keep spilling out of the modern economy. But at the same time, in the low-income countries, people struggle for daily survival, to have enough to eat, to have access to health care when they need it, which is quite often because poor people often live in places with high disease burdens, a lot of infectious disease, for example, in tropical regions. People lack the incomes to have a healthy diet. It's estimated that around 1 billion or 1.2 billion people live in those high-income countries where average incomes are in the tens of thousands of dollars per person each year. But at the same time, around 1 billion people live in the low-income countries where the incomes per person are in the hundreds of dollars per year. And it's in the low-income countries where people struggle every day for enough to eat, or may lack access to even emergency health facilities if they face a bout of illness, or lack access to safe water and sanitation as a daily fact of life, or lack access even to electricity or to any of the digital services. What a world of vast inequality. 1 billion or so people in the rich world, 1 billion among the poorest countries, and then 6 billion people divided roughly half and half between lower middle income countries and upper middle income countries. So a world of vast inequalities. And our objective is that the world that has so much technological know-how, so much capability, in which so many people live really highly prosperous lives, that there should be no extreme poverty and extreme deprivation in the world, because our know-how should enable us to ensure that everybody can live reasonably prosperous lives. The next challenge that we face that I've mentioned is to do so, to live prosperously around the world in an environmentally sustainable way. That means for 8 billion people to find ways to live, to use energy resources, and to use nature in a way which is sustainable, enabling the Earth physical systems to continue to provide the means of our sustenance, and to enable future generations to have the same kind of prosperity that we yearn for. Well, unfortunately, we are not on such a sustainable path in our time, as you know very well. When we look at this graph showing the Earth's temperature as estimated by the U.S. Space Agency, NASA, what we see is that we are on an upward trajectory of Earth's temperature, so-called global warming. And we know that that global warming is, in a way, a side effect of the massive increase of the Earth's population and the way that we use energy in the modern world. The sixth age of globalization, the age of industrialization, was launched by the ability to harness one of the fossil fuels, coal, in a modern steam engine and thereby create industrial might. And that industrial might led to rising output per person, vast increases of productivity, and as we've seen, large expansions of the Earth's population. But it also had, as we know, a major side effect. Because when coal, which is a carbon-based fossil fuel, is burned, the energy that is released with the change of the carbon in the coal to carbon dioxide. The carbon is oxidized, releasing energy, but creating carbon dioxide that enters the atmosphere. And what we have come to understand in the course of the last 150 years of science is that as the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere increases in concentration, that tends to warm the Earth. The result is that the age of industrialization brought us not only economic prosperity and a rising world population, but also rising carbon dioxide in the atmosphere as the coal and then later as the petroleum and the natural gas were burned as the primary energy sources for the modern industrial global economy. And as the CO2 increased in the atmosphere, so too increased the average temperature on the planet. And now Earth has warmed by more than 1.2 degrees Celsius compared to the average Earth's temperature before the industrial age. And that warming, as we know, is creating so many problems, so many climate-related disasters, because it's not only that Earth is getting warmer, so there are more heat waves, which itself can be a major problem, and rising temperatures challenging crop productivity and sometimes destroying crops by raising temperatures above levels at which those crops can be productive. But also, the change of temperature is associated with changes of the water cycle, the hydrologic cycle, leading in some places to more extreme droughts, in other places to more extreme floods, in some regions to more extreme tropical cyclones, typhoons, and hurricanes. And so we're seeing a massive disruption of the Earth's climate system because of the human-induced climate change. Well, this is just one of the many environmental crises that we'll be discussing in the ages of globalization, because in addition to the human-induced climate change is the great stress on the Earth's ecosystems from deforestation or overfishing or overharvesting of other species that we are driving to extinction or to the brink of extinction. And also, we know when we just look around us that the modern world economy is creating massive pollutants, perhaps most notoriously the plastics that have entered every ecosystem that are found in the fish that we catch from the oceans, that have changed and endangered the functioning of food webs of species in all ecosystems of the world. Climate change, loss of biodiversity, massive pollution. These are the environmental challenges that show that we have not yet achieved the environmental sustainability on which we will depend, and certainly on which you and future generations will depend for your prosperity and well-being. So we enter this class, the ages of globalization, seeking solutions. Solutions to poverty, solutions to massive economic inequality, solutions to environmental crises, and finally, solutions to our mentality of how to live together peacefully in our communities, in our nations, in our regions, and globally. When we look at a map of where current violent conflicts are, we see that violent conflicts are part of our reality in all parts of the world. And in recent years, we have had raging and devastating wars, terrible wars in Ukraine, in Israel and Palestine, in many parts of Africa, in parts of Asia, in parts of the Americas, wars that claim lives, that create tragedies, that lead to the maiming and disabilities of people for their life ahead. And wars that destroy our livelihoods, our hopes, our prosperity, and our ability to build for the future. So, of the challenges that we face, finding ways to prosperity, to social justice, to environmental sustainability, perhaps the overarching challenge we face is how to live peacefully and cooperatively on what is indeed a crowded and interconnected planet, because it is only through peace and cooperation that we'll be able to solve the problems of poverty, inequality, and environmental degradation. Peace and cooperation must come first. And as we study human history, we'll learn a lot about war, but we'll also learn a lot about the possibilities of peacemaking.